When he got home at night, Kanwoo was completely confused. All he could think about was Soyeon. Why could Soyeon have so many boyfriends but still ignore him? Could it be that in Soyeon's eyes, he was really just a fat boy who only knew how to? That night when Soyeon and her best friend were jogging, they met the girl who had hit Soyeon with a helmet. During the day in the park, Soyeon thought that the other girl was homeless, so Soyeon woke her up and asked if she needed help. This was the first time the girl had met such a kind person since leaving home, so she immediately gave her bag to Soyeon. But Soyeon thought this girl had a mental problem, so she took off her best friend's mask and used lipstick to write her contact number on it. Soyeon told the girl that if you had any problems, you could call me. Soyeon then took her best friend and left, and the girl looked at the phone number and was very excited. The next day, Kanwoo regained his spirits. He went to school to find his cousin Minhyuk to ask for help, but he accidentally saw Soyeon teaching students in the yard. This immediately gave him a bold idea. This school was originally invested in by his family's company. If he became the chairman of the board of directors here, he could control Soyeon. So the next day, he became the chairman of the board of directors of this school. The principal took him to the office and solemnly introduced him to all the teachers as the newly appointed chairman of the board of directors. Kanwoo thought that this time he could also start his revenge plan, but Soyeon only needed to show a threatening gesture for his stomach to start reacting again. Kanwoo tried to control this feeling when he thought about the previous time when he faced such a strong enemy. He practiced in front of the mirror. He tried to tell himself not to be nervous. Then he took the diarrhea medicine that the doctor had prepared for him. Kanwoo wanted to temporarily control this situation, but because Kanwoo was too nervous, he dropped the diarrhea medicine into the flower pot next to him. Moreover, the pill looked exactly like the pebbles in it, so Kanwoo was completely desperate. He could only use laughter to hide his embarrassment. Then he could only hug the flower pot and leave the classroom step by step. Everyone saw his strange behavior and did not understand what was going on. After finishing, Kanwoo returned to his office. It took him a long time. He had no time to find his diarrhea medicine in the flower pot. But while he was taking it, the principal walked in and saw him. Seeing the new chairman of the board eating pebbles, the principal thought Kanwoo was seriously ill. Just as he was about to step forward to stop him, a teacher pulled him out of the room. The teacher said that if the chairman of the board of directors liked to eat, then let him eat. After all, he was the boss of the school. That afternoon, to welcome the new chairman, all the teachers gathered at the barbecue restaurant to eat. What was unexpected was that Kanwoo was not only overly clean, but also had obsessive-compulsive disorder. Seeing a piece of fatty pork belly, he used scissors to cut off all the fat. He also spread the knowledge that the fat on grilled meat is all fat. Eating it is not good for your health. This made everyone immediately lose the spirit of eating grilled meat. Soyeon also endured it time and time again. She thought that since the chairman invited her, she would just eat it for now. But when Soyeon had just taken her first bite, Kanwoo started to cause trouble. He thought the smell of the grilled meat was too strong, so he led everyone away from the grilled meat restaurant to a high-class Western restaurant. Everyone was very happy to see this high-class environment. Kanwoo ordered a plate full of vegetable dishes. For a meat lover like Soyeon, this was completely unacceptable. So she exploded right at the dining table. Soyeon had a big argument with Kanwoo, but after calming down for a while, she realized that she had been too impulsive. After all, Kanwoo was her boss now, so he needed to save some face. So under the advice of her best friend, Soyeon took the initiative to find Kanwoo to apologize. Soyeon expressed that the two of them didn't need to be so tense in the future. It would be great if they could get along with each other. Kanwoo accepted Soyeon's apology. He also had no intention of apologizing. Kanwoo didn't have the intention of making things difficult for her anymore. She thought this would be the end of the matter. But that day, Kanwoo accidentally injured his finger, so he accidentally scratched his head and touched the wound. This caused him to raise his middle finger. This scene was also seen by Soyeon at the right time. In Soyeon's eyes, this action was clearly meant to provoke her. Soyeon angrily rushed forward and pushed Kanwoo against the wall. Kanwoo's heart beat wildly because of Soyeon's action. In a panic, he just ran away from the scene. At this time, because the big boss had left the scene, the principal had no choice but to pay. He thought that just eating a few vegetarian dishes wouldn't cost much, but after seeing the bill, he was extremely surprised. They had eaten a table full of vegetarian dishes and had spent 3 months of his salary. Finally, when he swiped his credit card, he was ridiculed by his subordinates for not having enough balance. At this time, Kangwoo, whose heart was racing just now, once again went to see a psychologist. Kangwoo asked the psychiatrist what this excitement was. After listening, the psychiatrist told Kangwoo that it was obvious that he had a crush on the other person. Kangwoo immediately denied it, that he couldn't possibly like that kind of crazy woman. He thought about it all night, but Kangwoo didn't understand why his heart was beating so fast. The doctor was about to be exhausted by Kangwoo, so the doctor went along with Kangwoo's wishes. He said that perhaps the excitement was due to arrhythmia and stress. Kangwoo got the answer he wanted and was satisfied when he left the hospital. But the next day, on the way to school, Kangwoo accidentally met So-yeon. The moment he saw So-yeon, Kangwoo's heart started beating wildly again. Kangwoo's eyes even unconsciously stopped on her. This made him very uncomfortable. In order to prevent this illness, Kangwoo decided not to go to school to work anymore and quickly drove past So-yeon. Recently, the sports department wanted to organize an athletics project, so So-yeon really needed Kangwoo's signature. Because the president approved it, they could invest money. But So-yeon looked for Kangwoo for several days, but she found that he hadn't come to school for several days, so she had to take the initiative to call him, to find him to sign first. Kangwoo thought that So-yeon was plotting something against him, so he followed her wishes. Kangwoo expressed that if So-yeon wanted to find his signature, she should come to his house. He thought she would definitely not agree, but surprisingly, she was very cheerful and agreed. This made him lose his composure. So-yeon listened to Mi-kyung's arrangement. She even took the initiative to bring a barrel of wine to get Kangwoo drunk and quickly make him sign. But when the two of them arrived at Kangwoo's house, they just happened to meet Hyun-soo coming to find him. So-yeon always misunderstood the relationship between the two. So-yeon was afraid that Hyun-soo being there would affect Kangwoo's work. So So-yeon told Mi-kyung to come to his house to distract Hyun-soo first while she knocked on Kangwoo's door alone. When Kangwoo saw So-yeon bringing a barrel of wine to his house, he immediately felt that she had bad intentions. He suspected that she had some kind of plot against him, so he decided to carefully review the application. He used time to make her give up, but So-yeon was in no hurry. She sat down and told him to take a closer look. Then, because she was so bored, So-yeon picked up a bottle of wine, but when she opened the wine, she accidentally spilled it all over herself. In the eyes of normal people, it was a very normal action, but in Kangwoo's eyes, it was completely seductive. Seeing her like that, his whole body was shocked, and when So-yeon saw him widen his eyes, she thought that there was something he didn't understand. So So-yeon immediately approached Kangwoo. She decided to explain to him in detail. This close contact made him, who had never been in love, finally unable to sit still. He stood up and prepared to chase her out. But So-yeon still hadn't gotten his signature, so she absolutely wouldn't give up. Just like that, one person walked ahead and the other followed closely behind. So-yeon kept talking to Kangwoo. She thought the reason he didn't sign was because she had rejected him when they were young. So now, he took the opportunity to get revenge on her. As a result, as soon as Kangwoo turned around, So-yeon immediately fell into his arms. The physical contact between the two made Kangwoo's heart beat faster. His whole body lost all composure. Unexpectedly, his body reacted at that moment. This made So-yeon fearfully take a step back. In front of So-yeon, Kangwoo really had no dignity or respect left. Because he was so embarrassed, he carried her on his shoulder and turned around to throw her out the door. At this moment, his cousin also arrived. The first thing Kangwoo did after closing the door was to put his head in the refrigerator to calm down. But he was still so embarrassed that he hid in his sweater. Even when he slept, he felt so embarrassed that he couldn't sleep. Kangwoo probably didn't want to see So-yeon again in this life. When So-yeon got home, she was full of doubts. Clearly saw Kangwoo and Hyun-soo being intimate, so she always thought Kangwoo was gay. As a result, after coming into contact with her, he reacted, so she asked her second brother with doubts. He said that under a certain stimulation, even without feelings, there could be a reaction. So-yeon nodded, but she didn't seem to understand very well. At the same time, Kangwoo, who was lying on the floor, said had a hallucination. Kangwoo seemed to see Soyeon lying on his bed, her hand gently caressed, which made him jump out of bed in fear.